Hey there, you Bible scholar. Yeah, I'm talking about you. That's you. If you clicked on this video, just like me, you're a Bible scholar. This is your first time. Hello. My name is Taneza. See, I was getting pretty for you guys. Put a little bit of lip color on. Welcome to my channel. I would love for you to join my tribe, my YouTube family, but I got a special love for my Bible scholars. Those are my tribe members that are going on an adventure with me. I am reading the Bible for the very first time, and it's just been amazing and enlightening, and it's crazy. I was telling a friend of mine last week, it's like I'm able to connect the stories that I heard in Sunday school and vacation Bible school. Remember VBS? It's all coming together. And it's also crazy, like listening to sermons on Sunday at church, and they reference scriptures that I just finished studying, and I can get their take on it as well. Super interesting. Anywho, all you have to do is to smash that subscribe button below. Today, you and I will be reviewing Numbers, chapters 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We're going to finish Numbers this week, guys. We're on a roll, and we keep on rolling. All right, let's get into it. 16, Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, along with 250 Israelite men, spoke out against Moses and Aaron. And I wanted to read for you verse 3. Oh, and I'm reading from the New International, the NIV version of the Bible. Whatever translation you have, just stick with it. If you don't have a Bible, no problem. I'm going to be putting every verse that I read out loud on the screen. Okay. Number 16, verse 3. They came as a group to oppose Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You have gone too far. The whole community is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is with them. Why then do you set yourselves above the Lord's assembly?" Moses tells them to take their censers. And if I still have it, I'll include the picture. It's from, we learned about the censers, I think in Exodus, but I'll insert a picture of it. It holds incense. "Put fire and incense in them," Moses says. "The man the Lord chooses will be the Holy One." Moses summoned Dathan and Abiram, who refused to come to Moses. I wanted to read verses 14 and 15 of chapter 16. Moreover, this is Dathan and Abiram responding to Moses summoning them. Verse 14, "Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, or given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you gouge out the eyes of those men? No, we will not come." Verse 15, "Then Moses became very angry and said to the Lord, 'Do not accept their offering. I have not taken so much as a donkey from them, nor have I wronged any of them.'" I wanted to go back to verse 14 really quickly because the footnote, "Will you gouge out the eyes of these men?" Another translation is "Will you make slaves of these men, or will you deceive these men?" So it's not literal, it's figurative. And then that fact that Moses got that angry with them, that is unlike Moses. We know Moses cries out on their behalf constantly. So I was like, okay, Moses. He's absolutely right, though. He's absolutely right. Moses tells the rebels if they die a natural death, the Lord has not sent him. But verse 30 of chapter 16, "If the Lord brings about something totally new, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the grave, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt." As soon as Moses finished speaking, the ground splits apart. Verses 32 and 33, "The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them with their household and all Korah's men and all their possessions." Verse 33, They went down alive into the grave with everything they owned. The earth closed over them and they perished and were gone from the community. Woo! It happened. What Moses said happened would happen. I wanted to read verse 35. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering the incense. Those are the same men in verse 2 of chapter 16 that rose up against Moses and Aaron. God says, don't touch his anointed. The next day, all the Israelites grumbled again against Moses and Aaron. The wrath of the Lord fell upon them in the form of a plague. 14,700 people died from the plague. There's a lot of action in chapter 16. On to chapter 17. The Lord tells Moses a few directions, right? He tells him to get 12 staffs from the leaders of each ancestral tribe. He is to write his name on the staff. On Levi's staff, write the name of Aaron. Place them in the tent of meeting in front of the testimony. I wanted to read verse 5 of chapter 17. The staff belonging to the man I choose will sprout, and I will rid myself of this constant grumbling against you by the Israelites. Moses spoke to the Israelites, telling them what to do. They did just as the Lord commanded. In verse 8 of chapter 17, the next day, Moses entered the tent of the testimony and saw that Aaron's staff, which represented the house of Levi, had not only sprouted, but had budded, blossomed, and produced almonds. Did it. There's the evidence. Each man took his own staff back. In verse 10, the Lord said to Moses, put back Aaron's staff in front of the testimony to be kept as a sign to the rebellious. This will put an end to their grumbling against me so that they will not die. So chapter 17, the budding of Aaron's staff. All right, chapter 18. The Lord gives Aaron and his family the responsibility of the tent of the testimony. I wanted to read verses 5, 6, and 7, chapter 18. You are to be responsible in verse 5 for the care of the sanctuary and the altar, so that wrath will not fall on the Israelites again. Verse 6, I myself have selected your fellow Levites from among the Israelites as a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord to do work at the tent of meeting. Verse 7, but only you and your sons may serve as priests in connection with everything at the altar and inside the curtain. I am giving you the service of the priesthood as a gift. Anyone else who comes near the sanctuary must be put to death. The Lord gives Aaron all the holy offerings the Israelites give to him, those that were not burned up. Verses 14 and 15. Everything in Israel that is devoted to the Lord is yours, verse 14 says. Verse 15, the first offspring of every womb, both man and animal, that is offered to the Lord is yours. But you must redeem every firstborn son and every firstborn male of unclean animals. Verse 19, whatever is set aside from the holy offerings the Israelites present to the Lord, I give to you and your sons and daughters as your regular share. It is an everlasting covenant of salt before the Lord for both you and your offspring. So God takes care of his people, and he takes care of those he's given special responsibilities to. The Lord gives direction that no Israelites are to go near the tent of meeting. Verse 23, it is the Levites who are to do the work at the tent of meeting and bear the responsibility for offenses against it. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. They will receive no inheritance among the Israelites. The Lord commands a tithe, 10% as the Lord's offering. All right. Chapter 19 is all about the water of cleansing. It gives direction on the water of cleansing. I think verse 18 and verse 19 sum it up very well. Verse 18 of chapter 19, then a man who is ceremonially clean is to take some hyssop, dip it in the water, sprinkle the tent and all the furnishings and the people who were there. He must also sprinkle anyone who has touched a human bone or a grave or someone who has been killed or someone who has died a natural death. Verse 19, the man who is clean is to sprinkle the unclean person on the 3rd and 7th days, and on the 7th day he is to purify him. The person being cleansed must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and that evening he will be clean. Chapter 20. The Israelites arrive at the desert of Zin. They stayed at Kadesh. Miriam dies and is buried. There's no water, and so the grumbling Israelites begin again. They're quarreling. They're saying, why did you bring us here? It's terrible. There's no water. Verses 6, 7, and 8. Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance to the tent of meeting and fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. When I read that, I was like, that's what I want to be like. Like, consistently going to God. Like Moses, every time there's a problem, he goes face down to the Lord. Every time, over and over again. I admire that so much. That's what I want from my life too. In verse 7, the Lord said to Moses, verse 8, take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes. It will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the community so they and their livestock can drink. And God always has a way. He always has a way, you guys. Moses did as the Lord instructed. Verse 11. Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water didn't trickle out. Water didn't drip drop out. Water gushed out, the Bible says, you guys, and the community and their livestock drank. Water gushed out of the rock. The Lord reminds Moses and Aaron, this community will not see the promised land. They get to Edom, the Israelites. So the first part of chapter 20 is water from the rock, and the second part is Edom denies Israel passage. The Israelites ask them, and in verse 17, please let us pass through your country. We will not go through any field or vineyard or drink water from any well. We will travel along the king's highway and not turn to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory. Edom says no. They say no. We're going to attack you if you try. I said, my notes say, Edom says no. They'll march out and attack them with a sword. The Israelites ask again, if our livestock drink any of your water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass on foot. Edom says, nope, not going to have it. Verse 25 and 26. So yeah, they denied Israel entrance through their land. It wasn't even into, it was through their land. So that was the second part of chapter 20. And then the third part of chapter 20, the death of Aaron. Verses 25 and 26. Get Aaron and his son Eleazar and take them up Mount Hor. Verse 26. Remove Aaron's. This is the Lord talking to Moses and Aaron. Verse 26. Remove Aaron's garments. Put them on his son Eleazar, for Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will die there. Moses was obedient. Aaron dies. And in verse 29, the last verse of chapter 20, when the whole community learned that Aaron had died, the entire house of Israel mourned for him 30 days. And that, my scholars, my Bible scholars, is a review of chapters 16 through 20. To our next video, our next review tomorrow will be a review of 21, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do 30 on the following day. Yeah, we're going to finish Numbers this week. That's crazy, you guys. Give you guys a hand. All right. If you have just started watching my Bible studies, I really try to keep it to one video. When I first started this at the beginning of the year in January, I was doing 2 videos. So I really try to condense as much as possible so I can just get one video and make it super easy for everybody. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or revelations, please absolutely leave them in the comments below. All right. I will see you in the next video reviewing Numbers 21, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bye for now.